Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in from wherever you are in the world, watching live here as we kick off Season 7 in the SRL TCR Championship. Now, we are at the Twin Ring, as the short name, Motegi. We have a fantastic lineup of racing here tonight to play out for you all. I can confirm we have a 33 car grid tonight as well, so there's going to be plenty of action and lots to try and keep track of, so it's all going to be a load of fun here tonight, and I look forward to bringing you along the whole journey of tonight's racing. So before we get into some major things here, let's have a little look. As you can see in front of you, track map, 4.75 kilometers in length. The temperature out there at the moment is 24 degrees C. There's an altitude above sea level of 156 meters. Obviously, we are in the country of the wonderful Japan. A beautiful place to be. What we'll do is we'll get rid of that off the screen for a second. Now, as you can see on your displays right now, there is a list of names, and those names are those people that are signed up within the championship, and you can see the classes that they are in as well. Now, these classes do mean something. Now, today, everything's on the line. These guys all start from the same figure. They're all on 0 points, and it is just all to play for out there today. So you will see some familiar names. I won't go through every single one of them, but there will be some returning names, some new names as well, and some people to watch out for, as you will see as these races go through here tonight. So we'll take that off of the screen for you all, and I will bring up what we are looking at the moment. So we are currently just rounding off the practice session. So, as you can see, John Brown currently leads the way with quickest time. Adam Dalmont closely behind him. Mark Draper closely behind that. Andrew Lovesey again closely behind that. Now, what we'll do is we'll just note down a couple of things then as we sit here watching the cars go through. So, one key thing to mention straight away, because some people may find it a little confusing, just to clear up any confusion out there at all for you watching at home. You can see P4, Andrew Lovesey, at the moment. He has a little white slash next to his name. So what we'll do is we'll go through the colours to make it clear as to what they are. So, the green slash means that they are in the pro category. The blue slash means that they are in the pro/am category, so they're in that middle ground. And the red means that they are in the am category. So those are the classes for the guys out there today. But like I said, they all start on the same amount of points, so it really doesn't matter who's where. It's all to play for. Everyone will be scoring some form of point here today. But you can see Mr. Andrew Lovesey, who's currently in P4 all the way at the top there, is in white. The stripe that is white against any kind of name out here tonight will be the car that we are focusing on. So as you can see, it shows the true colour in the bottom left corner there, but just to avoid any confusion, the white line is the one we're focusing on, just to clear that up now. So what we will do at the same time is welcome in. There goes Racing. Hello, Go Blade and Kraken. Appreciate your support as always. Welcome in, Early Bird. Mark Draper as well. Let's go. Hi, bud. How is it going, Mr. Draper? I thought we'd be seeing you out here. Oh, in fact, no, we are. We're seeing you in P3. Wow, so he's done his bit, and then he's popped into the stream as well to say hello. Well, welcome in. Thank you very much for the support as well as the racing that you're contributing to us as well. So we have 14 amazing twists and turns on this circuit here today. This is one of the newcomers, and to avoid butchering the surname, I have been pre-warned as to what it was, but my memory's that bad I've completely forgotten the correct pronunciation. So to avoid creating offence, we're just going to label this person as Michael. It's going to be the easiest way. But I will say this, Michael's had some seriously good pace so far that we've seen, so it's looking like it could be a really good night for the newcomer in the 43 car out there here in the TCRs. Now there is a lot to look out for as well. Obviously Rob Williams and Chris Barnes being the quickest two so far in the practice session for the AMS. But obviously remember, this is just practice, so some drivers may not be going 100% just yet. They might just be finding their groove. So it will be qualifying, obviously, that will determine where these guys sit. So whilst we jump back to the S's, I'm going to run through a couple of details with you to explain what happens on a typical Friday race day in the SRL League. So, the session times are as I've read out here for you tonight. So the practice will commence, or always commences at 8:30 PM. It lasts for 1 hour. Then open qualifying is for 15 minutes, and it starts approximately at 9:30. Then we have a 20-minute race. From 9:45 roughly. Sometimes it can be just before or just after. And then we have a 5-minute warm-up or a 5-minute break for the drivers before we jump into race 2, which is a 25-minute race, so they have an extra 5 minutes, and it goes from roughly 10:15 PM. Now with race 2 there is a random reverse grid, and I do have the number of the reverse grid. However, this number shall not be revealed until during race 1. So obviously you will know the number when we get into race 1 here tonight. But yes, there will be a reverse grid of some sort. Now this is randomized completely as well. So that is also a fancy little twist to look out for as the season progresses, because you never quite know if you're going to be the one starting in that P1 position in the second race. So whilst we let the drivers all jump into their qualifying mode, let me just run through the calendar for you guys here tonight as well. So we are currently at Motegi GP. We then go to Road Atlanta next week, the full course as well. Then we go to Mid-Ohio, then Belle Isle, then followed by Mugello for round 5, then the Hockenheim National B for round 6, and then rounding it all off in the UK, we have a double UK extravaganza. So we have round 7, we have the Brands Hatch GP, round 8, the Donington Park GP, and that will round off your season for the TCRs. Now, when I said that these guys will all be fighting for points, I truly meant that, because everyone out here will be scoring some points tonight. So the top 40 cars will be scoring points. We currently have 33 out on track at the moment, which is a very good show for the amount of people that are actually signed up into this league ready to race. So an amazing turnout. So every car here today will be scoring at least 8 points or more. The maximum points a car can come away with today is 65, and the minimum is 8. So there is a lot of in between, and there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Now that is a general point system, so that is not based class by class. That is just in general. So these guys will be fighting each other for the points. So it doesn't matter if they're in a slightly different class to the other car. They will still be fighting each other for those points. Now, the one thing to mention, though, is there are bonus points up for grabs for the classes. So this is where it could get a little bit more confusing. The fastest lap for each class will get a bonus 2 points. So, for an example, we saw Rob Williams and Chris Barnes were the quickest in AMS. If one of those two picked out the fastest lap in the races, then they would get a bonus 2 points. Same for John Brown or Dan Mould or whoever in pros, and then the same again for Pro-Ams. Those select drivers from their classes would get a bonus 2 points for the fastest lap in their class. But apart from that, all the other points are just general. They're not assigned to class by class. So that is one thing to watch out for. But that is your details for the SRL Championship thus far. Obviously, any further details that I need to bring you, I will bring you throughout the broadcast. But for now, sit back, relax, enjoy as we watch these guys go racing once more. Now, speaking of Mr. Rob Williams, we were just talking about him 1 second ago, he was one of the quicker drivers with Chris Barnes as well, and there he is in the Kraken Racing livery car there. I have to admit, I do like the look of some of these cars this season. The liveries look absolutely fantastic as they go gleaming around this track, especially the Kraken Racing one with the chrome on it as well. Absolutely love it. So let's focus on some qualifying then. As you can see down on the bottom of your screens, you will see what these guys are doing in terms of sectors and how they are getting on around each lap. A lot of them are going to be showing greens and purples for now, whilst they get their first couple of time laps in, and then it is going to be a chase lap time fest. They have 15 minutes to do so though, so 15 minutes to try and get the job done and, well, ultimately get a higher position than they can. You see the brakes are on absolute fire there at the back of the Kraken Racing car. What we'll do as well is we'll jump on board with Mr. Williams here and let him take us around for a race. What we'll do is we'll sit just off to the side so you can have a... In fact, no, I lied. We're going to give you the driver's view. So, we'll wait for him to come around. So here we are then, on to... Oh, cheeky. Bull Lion has gone the quickest in qualifying. We'll let those times roll through. As they all do come flying through here at the moment. We'll just wait for Rob to finish his lap. We are now into the S's right at the end of the lap. And here we go. So on to the home straight then. So this will be the view that you'll see from the grid if you were racing in this section of the season. As we go into turn 1 and 2, a double right-hander, both roughly 90-degree corners. So starting the lap off nice and sharp, there'll be plenty of overtaking opportunities going into those corners, and I think it'll be a bit chaotic as you go the transition from turn 1 and 2. Then again, same for 3 and 4 here, which is a double left-hander. The second left-hander here is not as sharp. You can carry a little more speed through turn 4 there. Again, onto another longer straight. The drafting is going to be magnificent around this track, because there's plenty of straight ways to do it. Ooh. Lapse in judgment there maybe for the braking of these two cars at the moment, but that was through turn 5. Now, diagonally up to turn 6. Again, a slight right-hander. You can carry a lot of speed through there. Into what I like to call the Japanese S's, which are always very difficult to navigate around. There's a couple of Japanese tracks that are very famous that have S-bends a bit like those, which are long and they do take a second or two to get around, and not the easiest to keep your tyres gripped up on either when you're trying to go through as quick as possible. But we just went around a really sharp left-hander. That was turn 9. Now into the hairpin right onto the back straight. Now this is where it will get a little confusing for some people, because it looks like the start-finish line, but this is not. This is actually the back straight, which goes into a slight downhill and then into a right-hander. As you can see, we come into the downhill zone now. It's not heavily noticeable in terms of the car performance, to my knowledge. You still hit your braking zone roughly at the same point. As you can see, you go plenty wide there on to the left-hander, second left-hander, now onto the right-hander, on to the start-finish line. So that is a lap done by Mr. Williams. So thank you very much, Mr. Williams. That is a lap of Motegi there for you. See the sponsor banners there going into turn 1 once again. So let's have a little look at some of the times that are coming through at the moment. And Will Ryan currently leads the way in P1 and overall and for pros. So he's currently up there, car number 89, with 2 minute 3.2. So it is a slightly longer lap than normal. we go, and you will see at the top of your screen as well, we do have the leaders at the moment of each class there. So we do have Mr. Lion leading the pros, we have Michael leading the pro-ams, and Chris Barnes leading the ams there, just ahead of Kev Eilert. Sorry, he's gonna hate me for that one. Kev Eilert, sorry. But yes, plenty of goings on at the moment around the track, but we'll keep that up for you and displayed so you can see who is in the lead and where. Pressing buttons I shouldn't do, sorry. I apologise about that. There was a little bit of a bug going on, but I've managed to fix it now. So let's have a little look at Mr. Eilert here, who is currently sitting P2, chasing down the lap time for Mr. Barnes. Just as I say that, Senor Lewis has gone quickest in the AM, so he's just taken that lead away from Chris Barnes, and he's now P22 overall, but P1 in his class in the SRL livery Audi there as he comes around to do another lap. There goes P22, as you can see on the side of his car there, heading into the double left-handers turn 3 and 4. Nearly 10 minutes on the clock here have lapsed, and wow, with only 5 minutes to go, it's kind of coming down to the wire. But once again, just like we saw in the 3-3 race series just before this season had actually got underway, all these cars had nothing splitting them at all. It's probably not one of the easiest seasons to grade people based on classes, because everyone is so equal and similar to each other's lap times. It's very, very difficult to kind of split people up and say, okay, you belong here, you belong there, and you belong there. So, fair play to those people involved with that. We're getting these guys all situated within their classes. I will say Andrew Lovesey currently leading the way, though, pros and overall. And you've got Fraser Elphick, currently P6, leading the Pro-Am class. And then you have Dan Lewis, who's just taken the pole position from AMS off of Chris Barnes, but not by a lot at all. A tenth of a second is all that's in it between those two. See quite a few yellow sectors coming in from multiple people. Paddy Faulkner pulling off a purple sector as well, currently sitting P11 overall, and up there for the pros as well, so not too shabby for Mr. Faulkner. What we'll do as well is we will show you on the track map where people are roughly. You can see there's a couple of AMs in the background, kind of spread out, got themselves a bit of a gap going on as well, so that's quite handy for them, having that free space. Same for Mr. Will Lyon, who's currently sort of out in front of everyone, clear space all in front of him, nothing to worry about at all. A little way behind is Andrew Lovesey, but not by much whatsoever, as he comes into that left hand. Now, sharp left-hander leading towards the back straight. One more corner is all that splits him and that long straightaway, so you must make sure that you get a nice swift exit and get the power down nice and early to maximise your speed all the way down your straight, because that'll be what kills some people's times here, is purely the exit on that straight, and that's going to prove quite vital for some people when it comes to making their overtakes or even defending when we jump into these races. So here comes Will then straight into the left-hander, into the S's just before the start finish line in his Iron Brew machine. Honda comes around to make another lap up of one of its home circuits for Honda. So good showing so far from Mr. Will. Not much time splitting him and P1 though, so he needs to try and pull something out the bag here, just under a tenth of a second splits him and Mr. Andrew Lovesey out on top. Just seeing Michael has now taken the lead of Pro-Ams once again. He's jumped up, and then just as I say that, Fraser Elphick does one better and jumps up into P3. So he's now on a podium for Pro-Am, for overall, sorry, and he's currently P1 for Pro-Am, so he's currently doing the double whammy. Adam Delmont's currently taking the lead as well overall and in pros. So he's done a fantastic job there, and Kev Eilert has done one over Dan Lewis and Chris Barnes, and he has jumped up into P1 for the AMS as well. So plenty of goings on at the moment. Tom Woodcock and Daggos Racing. Let's have a little look at what you guys have said. Come on, Barnesy, says Daggos Racing. We've got plenty of support out there for Chris Barnes and Mr. Williams. Let's go Kev, Cooper, Hilton and Paul, says Tom Woodcock. Tom, you may as well shout out half the grid, seeing as we're listing off next. We appreciate everyone's support as always. Welcome in to each and every one of you. Hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. Make sure you do drop a like on to the stream if you possibly could. And if you're not already, do subscribe to the SRL YouTube channel. There are POVs going on as well, so if you're not aware of who's doing their POVs and who's got theirs on display, you can join the Discord, which is shown on the poster in the bottom right corner of your screen. We won't keep it up there too long because you don't want to distract too much from what's going on screen, but there is a little QR code in the bottom right corner. You can scan that quickly now, or pause it, scan it, jump in the Discord, and you will find all links in there of driver POVs, and you will see exactly what is going on across the board during these races. So, speaking of the races, we have one coming up in just around 15 seconds from now, as when the qualifying will finish. Will Lyon has literally matched the time of Fraser Elphick. Nothing splits the two at all now, so Will Lyon is kind of on a joint P3 spot at the moment. There is Mr. Michael, who was chasing down that P1 for the Pro-Am, but unfortunately didn't quite get that job done. So let's bring you your grid then. So Adam Delmont leads the way in P1, Andrew Lovesey P2, Fraser Elphick P3, Will Lyon P4, John Brown P5, Dan Molden P6, Mark Draper in P7, Pete Newman in P8, Pete Newman in P8, sorry, Michael in P9, Arthur Thurtle rounds off your top 10, Stephen Fry P11, Paddy Falconer P12 there. As we scroll through, P13 for Jack Jeffries and Kim Andre Bjorkland P14, followed by Stuart Gibbons, Dec Crowther, Neil Stevenson, Fraser Garrity, Craig Walters, Deju as well in P20. We've got Adam McNally P21, Kev Eilert P22, Alan McCain P23, Dan Lewis P24, and Cooper Akers, Ricardo Neto, Scott Malcolm, Chris Barnes, Rob Williams, Anthony Hilton, Hilton Nicholson, Paul Hurley and Carl Fleet. There is your grid for the first race as we wait to get the first race underway here as we focus on Adam Delmont. There he is, sitting there waiting for the lights to go green. And it's not going to be long until they do so, sir, so make sure you are ready. And it is a little bit more of a transparent overlay for you as well, so you should be able to see the names hopefully a little easier. Things should stick out a little better for you, but yes, to everyone sitting on the grid, we can see you all. I see you all flashing. We appreciate each and every one of you for coming and joining us as the red lights get up, and we are underway for the TCR Season 7 Round 1 here at Motegi race circuit, and Adam Delmont has taken a fantastic lead so far into turn 1. The Andrew Lovesey battle at the minute between him and Will Lyon is going on, but geez, look at those cars come around the corner there, some 4 and 5 wide as we jump a little further down at the grid. You can see there Stuart Gibbons kind of in amongst it as well. It's hard to really pick out any cars at the moment as they're all going in side by side. Let's quickly jump all the way up to our blimp camera, and you can, there's contact there in the background. I'm not too sure who that was that went off. I think that was Adam McNally, as we saw him fall down a couple of positions there. I think in fact it could be Scott Malcolm, who's continuously dropping down positions at the moment as well. So I think that was Mr. McNally that unfortunately has departed from the circuit, not by any error of his own. It looked like he had been spun from the rear end, but Can't put any judgment onto anyone thus far. We don't fully know the extent to what has happened. But one thing we do know is Fraser Elphick here has lost quite a few positions. Currently down 10 positions from that starting place. So not good for Mr. Elphick whatsoever here at the moment. But Michael just ahead of Fraser, trying his best to hold out his position, and he's struggling as Michael goes to take the inside line and does so, gets onto the back straight in front and with the advantage as well. So handy stuff for him indeed, as he gets a little bit of room now out in front. So let's quickly have a look at who is in the lead for your AMS, and at the moment it is Kev Eilert, sorry, he's gonna hurt me for this. I know he is. Kev Eilert at the minute in the car 1-1-1 is currently leading the way for the AMS. P19 overall. A delicious amount of points coming his way for the opening round, and it looks like we've had more goings on towards the back of the grid. Oh no, in fact we've just had some people pit stop early doors. I'm guessing they're probably going to be contacts with other cars, because there was quite a few there early doors in this racing session. Within the sort of first few corners, we started to see some cars come together. I will say we do have the Blade delivery cars, Blade Designs, holding out the grid kind of mid-pack here. 14th and 15th of Deck Crowther and Stuart Gibbons, not letting anyone by. They're just gonna, well, they're in a lovely pack of space at the moment, and good luck to anyone trying to take on two teammates, because, well, it's not going to be easy pickings for them whatsoever. Jump up towards the front of the grid then. Andrew Lovesey, currently P3 overall. 3 tenths behind Will Lyon, who's sitting in P2 in his Iron Brew wagon at the moment. And Adam Darmont off for a cruise up ahead as well in his SRL Next Gen Racing livery car there. Lovely glimmer of gold as he comes around off the left-hander into the braking zone at the moment. You can see that long train behind him, and you can now see all the classes are starting to even up and get into position. You can see the pros are currently pretty much leading the race, apart from Adam McNally, who's obviously in P21 overall, so he's kind of fallen out of his, I guess, groove, or out of his zone, if you like. Speaking of Adam McNally, here he is now coming down the straight, the car number 478 there, as he goes flying by into the downhill braking zone. Just behind him is Chris Barnes in the Kraken Racing livery, P22 overall. He is currently sitting in P3 for the AMS at the moment, so he is currently on podium for his class, so a good strong sort of start for Mr. Barnes here so far, but he's looking to try and get the attack onto Adam McNally, and it's not going to be an easy job to do, but he's got his nose corner to corner at the moment, so he's got his foot in the door there, really. Gone for the inside line, taking it, and sticks the move. Can he carry that momentum into the next corner? He does so indeed, manages to stick the position, moves up into P21. Fantastic overtake there, nice and clean from Mr. Barnes as he pushes his way up the table. See if we have any goings on with Michael at the moment, who was a late entrance to the league, and well, he's doing a fantastic job so far. Just currently sitting on the back of the train for the pros, as they're all sort of grouping up together now. You see the brakes are absolutely red hot on fire at the moment. We do have a Stephen Fry back here, and Stephen Fry currently sitting in P13 overall. And I will just say, I have noticed one hiccup from the overlay. There is, don't look at the coloured bar in the bottom left corner, because it's wrong, because it's saying everyone is a pro when they are not. So Stephen Fry obviously is a pro/am, and Michael is leading the way for the pro/ams, who's just ahead and on the back of that pro train. Here is your leader for the AMS at the moment, and he has got Deju just up behind him, trying to pose an attack on the 111 car there. Not too far behind is Ricciardo, leading a train of cars behind him. Chris Barnes, Adam McNally, Cooper Akers, all in amongst it there as well. Cooper Akers obviously had a good couple of races in the free races just before the season kicked off, and not a bad start to season 7 for him in the Pro-Am category. He's still got a decent amount of cars behind him at the moment, and he's still got a fair amount in front as well. So a bit of work to do for Mr. Akers, but nevertheless, I'm sure he will get in amongst it and see if he can get the job done on some of those cars just in front of him. Now, one thing is to mention, I did say that we won't reveal any sort of mysterious numbers or hints into the reverse grid, but let's find out who it'll be. I can tell you now that the reverse grid pole position at the moment is currently held by this man here. Mr. Stephen Fry currently sits in that P1 position for race 2. The reverse grid of 13 is what the random number was today, and that was given to me earlier today. So P13 will be the reverse grid, so Deck Crowther and Stuart Gibbons, if they can somehow close that gap that's starting to open up between those and get on to Stephen Fry and battle him for that position, try and move up, they will be on that top spot for race 2. Now, they don't know that. I don't think any of these drivers know that, obviously, unless they are watching as well as racing, but that is the golden position to have for race 2. They will be the one on that P1 spot on the grid. 8 minutes have lapsed this far, and as it stands, Stephen Fry will be leading the way for race 2, but at the moment in race 1 it is Michael that leads the way for Pro/Ams in that luminous green livery there that does stick out nice and bright. Mr. Thurtle at the moment having a little cheeky battle there, and there's a bit of contact unfortunately, and both cars go off into the gravel pit after Thurtle and Kim-Andre Bjorklund. It looked like Kim-Andre Bjorklund maybe come off a little worse. No, then again, I don't think he did. He came off a little better actually. After that, now coming back up the road, he now has Chris Barnes on his rear end, kissing him all the way down the straight. Didn't even ask him out for dinner first. Instead, he says, I drive an Audi, and tries to get a first date squashed and nailed within a heartbeat. And unfortunately, he hasn't quite been successful because he's still sitting behind Mr. Thurtle, who stays in P18. After that unfortunate incident where both cars did go off at quite quick pace into the gravel. You can see Kim-Andre Bjorklund in the background there. He seems to be having some issues with his car. Looks like some bad damage on the front left. That looks like wheel damage. You can see him trying to keep the car straight down the straightaway there, and it's trying to crab on him at the same time. You can see that front left is, well, I don't really have any words to describe the damage that's on the front of that car. I'd say that's taken a wide body kit to an extreme, I think is the best way to put that. Now Fraser Garrity's going to have to be a little careful when trying to get the overtake. Maybe just wait for the lap to be done. Speaking of which, this is how close they are to getting the lap done. They're coming into the longer S's before the hairpin turn onto the back straight. You can see the leader does come onto the back straight now in P1. What does also bring up your little battle box here as well, so you can see who's gained and lost positions. You can see unfortunately Fraser Elphick has lost quite a few there, 25 unfortunately for Mr. Elphick. And Kim-Andre Bjorklund sadly down 15 after that incident earlier with Mr. Thurtle. Let's jump up here to a man that we haven't actually seen today this far, but Dan Mould currently pushes his way up into P5 just ahead of Pete Newman, and it looked like Pete Newman was trying to look for his shopping that he thought he left in Dan Mould's boot. Turns out he didn't, so he backs off completely after having a good old rummage through the boot of Mr. Mould's car in the number 80 there, the SRL TV vehicle. Quickest lap goes to Will Lyon at the moment with a 2:02. So a quality time there, senor. Keep up the good work, as they say. And unfortunately, Kim has gone into the pit lane to get that damage fixed. Hopefully he can get it fixed quickly and get straight back out there and try and regain some positions. He's still going to score points. How many he's going to score, we will not know, but hopefully he'll be able to pick some up. I have noticed that there is a name down there at the minute, Rob Williams, who must have had an incident earlier on in the race, and he's on a comeback drive at the minute, trying to close down 7 seconds to Halton Nicholson, which is not going to be an easy job to do, but I'm sure he is going to try, and I'm trying to see if there is any form of damage at all on Rob's car, which will give us an indication as to if anything had happened earlier in the race, but it doesn't look that way. He seems to be plodding along nicely there, so yeah, fingers crossed for Rob. We can see him close down that time and get back in amongst it with the fights that are going on around the grid at the moment. So Mr. Brown at this moment in time is chasing down Andrew Lovesey for that final podium spot. As you can see, he gets his nice shiny white eyebrows freshly combed for this round opener of season 7. As he comes down the back straight into the downhill braking zone just behind Lovesey. Lovesey needs to kind of keep half an eye on his mirrors. It's not hard to miss that bright lime green on Mr. Brown's car there, and I did get it mistaken last time. I said John Brown had an incident when it wasn't actually him at all. So I still do apologise for that. But I've been told the wheel colour's different, so I need to pay more attention to that, because clearly my attention to detail wasn't very good during those incidents there. But Dan Mole currently goes quickest with a 2 minute 2.5, so he has put in that quickest lap time. So those 2 bonus points at the moment currently go the way of Mould. As you can see, he is now on the back of John Brown, and what's going to happen between these two? John Brown's going to go for the inside line. Can he hold it against Mould as they go into the double left-hander? Mould goes for the cutback. He gets back on the inside line for the next left-hander. John Brown's going to have to surrender the position potentially. No, they both go off. Dan Mould goes spinning into the wall, bounces off the wall, and it looks like he's going to have some damage on that front wheel there, on the front right potentially, and that could, I think that could be Dan Mould's race. It's not come to an end, I don't think, but it's certainly not going to be for many points for race 1. As you can see, he's dropping down the positions big time there at the moment. Let's jump back to John Brown. Is there any damage on his car at all? Doesn't look that way. He has conceded a few positions. Does that give some breathing space to Mr. Lovesey? And you can see it has done there. Pete Newman is the car behind. He's trying to push up, but he does have Paddy Faulkner just in behind him at the moment. Unfortunately, we do have Kim Andre Bjorkland and Adam McNally are all out of the session. I think we did just, yeah, we did, unfortunately. No, we didn't lose him. We didn't lose him. He's still out on track. We do have Rob Williams still. And turns out, no, we do have Kim Andre Bjorkland still as well. And Rob Williams is going to be coming up to Mr. Mould here any second. I believe he's just around the corner. There he is, Mr. Mould going off track to let Rob pass. Probably the safest thing to do with the damage that he's suffered earlier in this race, unfortunately. Mr. Deck Crowther. Well, he's moved up since we last spoke and had seen him. Currently P3 overall, P3 in his class, P11 overall in this race. So not bad whatsoever for Mr. Crowther, and he's not far behind Stephen Fry and Michael Eva, who are battling out for the lead in the Pro-Ams. It may only look like a battle for P9, but this is a battle for a P1 at the same time. This is what these guys want. They want that first race victory for their class. It would be nice to get an overall one, but the first victory you've got to get is the victory of your class first before going for the big one. And that number 35 car there is going to do just that. Hopefully Stephen Fry looking to try and get past Michael, who's looked like a strong contender so far for the entire session that I've seen him race in as well. So it's not going to be an easy job to get done whatsoever. See if Deck Crowther can catch up potentially to the carnage that's going on in front, but also What about his teammate just in behind that, Stuart Gibbons, trying to close the gap at the moment as it increases to 2 seconds. Neil Stevenson trying to put the pressure on Mr. Walters at the moment as well, and looks to have the momentum advantage, going for the outside line, possibly looking for the switchback into the right hander onto the back straight. Now doesn't do so. Going to sit in behind and try and gain the momentum. We'll stick with these two, see if he can get that job done on the next turn into the downhill braking zone. Looks like Mr. Walters slightly moved to a more defensive line, but jumps back onto the standard racing line as he goes into that right hander, getting back end out almost there on his TCR. As you can see, they then come around into the last couple of corners for this lap. 16 minutes and 45 seconds have gone by since the start of this race. These guys do not have long left to make the moves that they need to make to get their positions done. It is all coming down to the wire here in the first race. Some gaps are starting to open up. There are some trains that are starting to close up. All sorts are still going on out there on the circuit at the moment. Mark Draper looking to try and get the job done on Paddy Faulkner. Not proving too easy out there for any of these drivers to really get the overtake done. Let's see what Cooper Akers is up to. As you can see, the time between him and Ricardo Neto just in front is closing just a little bit. As you can see, the yellow and green car there of Ricardo Neto just in front. A little bit of damage on the front of the car there for Mr. Neto as well. Oh, almost a rear end there. Oh, looks like we've got Mark Draper off on the side of the circuit as well, so he's dropping down some positions at the moment. Not good news for him. What do we have in the YouTube chat? Gibbo got one on deck. Go, Gibbo. Gibbo is trying. I'll give him that. Gibbo is going. We can't really fault him there. You see at the moment the places that are being exchanged here is between Alan McCain and Mr. Paul Hurley. As you can see, Alan McCain did get out in front at the moment and is now sitting up 2 positions from his starting place on the grid. Is Paul Hurley starting to fall back just a little bit? Because now it looks like Anthony Hilton is going to be on the attack, trying to get in amongst it into the final few laps. As we look back there, and you can see Anthony Hilton concedes the position there, unfortunately, to Fraser Elphick. Fraser Elphick looks for the move up and gets the job done. Now sits on the rear end of Mr. Hurley. Also looks to try and get the move done on him. He's got the ultimate switchback onto the home straight. Gets the position done. That's 2 positions within a matter of a few corners for Mr. Elphick as he goes racing through. That leaves Anthony Hilton and Paul Hurley side by side into turn 1. They're going to stay side by side through turn 1 and 2. Now heading towards the double left-hander of 3 and 4. Can Anthony Hilton keep that position? And can he complete that job and possibly get the attack back on Mr. Elphick as well? Oh, concedes the position pretty much to the inside line. Fantastic work there for Mr. Hurley as he comes out victorious over that little battle there. As he starts to slowly pull off into the distance, but into the braking zone. You know who's going to go later on the brakes here. That is Mr. Anthony Hilton, just on the rear end. They're almost touching. You can see the back bumper is a little mushed up as well from a little bit of contact there, I imagine. No doubt, not only from this battle, but throughout the race as well. As you can see, Paul Hurley is currently in P23 overall. So he's not highest in the grid, but he's not the lowest either. And you can see at the moment, Anthony Hilton is giving him all kinds of issues at the moment in terms of battling. It's slowing these two down, and well, if they're going to get the job done, they need to try and get it done and get away as quick as possible. And probably the best time to do that is going to be the back straight. If you can get the better exit over your opponent, can Paul Hurley get the attack back on? Can he get that switch back onto the inside line, maybe on the back straight? Does he have that momentum advantage or the speed advantage up there? It doesn't look like he's going to do so. The gap's going to be a bit too big. Is he going to go for a dive towards the end of this straight? I highly doubt it. I think he's a little too far away. It's possible, but I think it'll be an absolutely outrageous move. As you can see, he does pull in into the braking zone. Doesn't quite get the job done, though. And I've completely mistimed everything here in race 1. As you can see, Adam Delmont has come across for the race victory there. And I got so drawn into the action that I didn't even realise they were on the last lap. As you can see, all the cars are coming through. I'll bring you your results in just a moment. Some cars are already, some drivers, sorry, are already getting out of their cars, so it's throwing all sorts around the bend at the moment because it's saying that they're all off track or something when they're not. As we do wait for the final few cars to come around to round off round 1. But apologies from me there for missing the finish. I was so drawn into that battle. I didn't realise that Barney had his white flag out. Scott Malcolm comes round onto the back straight now, heading towards a P31 finish for round 1. Unfortunately, Dan Mould was in the pits there for P32, and Adam McNally was out 3 laps down on P33. So unfortunate for those guys, but they're still all taking points home, so that is the main thing to remember. Still going to be taking points home from any position you get in these races, so that is the key thing to have in your mind when going around this track and throughout this season as well, is you're going to score points no matter where you are on the grid at the finishing line. Scott Malcolm comes around to complete round 1, and I promise next time I will actually bring you the wonderful ending to the to the race. So I do apologise about that. That is completely on me. But Adam Delmont does finish your Heat 1 as your victor. And sitting on the second step of that podium is Mr. Will Lyon. P3 is Andrew Lovesey, and Pete Newman, unfortunately, just missing out on that podium spot. Paddy Faulkner in P5, Jack Jeffries in P6. Then Michael sits there in P7, but grabs a P1 for his class. Stephen Fry, P8, but P3 overall, P2 overall for his class there. And then P9 overall for Deck, and P3. A podium spot for his class. John Brown rounds off your top 10. Then Stuart Gibbons, P11. Craig Walters, P12. Neil Stevenson, P13. Deju on P14. And then we have Kev Aylett. There we go. Got it correct that time. Who got a P15 overall. So a fantastic result for Kev. But he got a P1 in his class as well. So a quality result there. Arthur Thurtle in a P16, obviously unfortunate instance earlier in race 1. Chris Barnes with a P2 in his class, P17 overall. So we scroll down the grid, then we have Ricardo Neto in P18. He got a P3 in his class. And Cooper Akers with P19. Mark Draper, P20. Alan McCain, P21. Fraser Elphick, P22. Anthony Hilton, P23. Paul Hurley, P24. Carl Fleet, P25, Fraser Garrity, P26, Dan Lewis, P27, Hilton Nickinson, P28, Rob Williams, P29, Kim Andre Bjorkland, P30, Scott Malcolm, P31, Dan Mould, P32, and I can't quite see the bottom name, so I do apologise. I will find out who that is. Because I feel bad, it's not showing, and I don't know why it doesn't show. It annoys me. But we do have a 5-minute break, so if you do wish to take a break and take a chill, please do so. I believe that's Adam McNally at the bottom there as well. So Adam McNally in P33. But that is your race results for Heat 1. Now, we do obviously have that P13 reverse grid as well. So, P13 Victor will be starting in P1 on this second race, and that may be a surprise to the drivers. They may have been told by some of the officials from this league that P13 is the magic number. But if they haven't, it's going to be a mighty surprise when they see themselves in P1 on the grid. So we'll just wait for these 5 minutes to lapse. Obviously, everyone watching at home, if you're enjoying the broadcast, please do drop it a like and let us know what you think to the broadcast. Is there anything we can improve? Is my speech good enough? Or are you just about hanging in there listening to me go on? Pete Newman currently getting in some laps in a crucial time to get an advantage over the others out there who he will be racing in race 2, and I'm sure close racing it'll be as well. As we saw in race 1, pretty much for the entire race, there was action going on all over the place. It was a little struggle to keep up with, but it was well worth it as we go into the last minute of the 5 minutes warm-up. We will soon depart from Mr. Newman's laps and bring you your starting grid for race 2. Now remember, there is an extra 5 minutes as well in this race, so plenty of time for these guys to get their moves done and hopefully enjoy themselves a little bit more as well. More time to have a good laugh out there with your mates and really try and get to work and get the job done on those you need to do so. There we go, the checker flags are up for the warm-up session then, so we will be heading into the second race any moment now. Here we go, so let's bring you your grid. So we've got Neil Stevenson starting P1, Craig Walters P2, Stuart Gibbons P3, John Brown P4, Derek Crowther P5, Stephen Fry P6, Michael in P7, Jack Jeffries P8, Paddy Faulkner P9, Pete Newman P10, Andrew Lovesey P11, Will Lyon in P12 there. As we scroll down the grid, Adam Delmont P13, Deju P14, Kev Arlett P15, Arthur Thurtle 16, Chris Barnes, Ricardo Neto, Cooper Akers, Mark Draper, Alan McCain, Fraser Elphick, Anthony Hilton, Paul Hurley. Then we have Carl Fleet, Fraser Garrity,
Green flag,
and we are underway already. These guys don't even give me a chance to get through all the names as you see them getting underway. Wow, massive collision at the rear of the grid there. We're definitely going to have to go back and watch that one to see what on earth happened there, as we've seen one car literally take flight at the beginning of that race. At the moment we can see just one car going wide there, which is the Kraken Racing livery car, and we can see another one off in the background as well. Unfortunately, there's a few cars instantly out of the race pretty much after a massive collision on the starting grid. Let's just see if we can have a look at what actually happened there. Oh dear. Fraser Elphick just didn't have the right start. Literally bogged down on the start, hit straight away twice, third time, then bang! In comes Mould. And unfortunately a huge collision on the start of the race. Smoke once again in the background just as we jump on board with what's going on back live here. You can see all the cars coming around once again. Side-by-side racing as always for the two just behind here. Jack Jeffries at the moment fighting out with Mr. Lovesey. Let's get the back box up as well so you can see clearly who we are working with at the moment. As you can see, Jack Jeffries trying to get the move done and does so, or tries to, as he tries to defend his position. I thought he was going to get back up then, but unfortunately he lost, I think it was 2 positions in the end, as he sits on the outside line, lets the two battle on the inside. Almost going to go 3 wide here towards the end of the back straight into the right hander. He does now get that move done, and he sticks his bonnet just in front, and now he's kind of put himself in that sandwich right on the back end of Lovesey's vehicle there. So can he get that move sorted within the next couple of corners? He does now have a long straight to sit in behind, and hopefully you let that drafting power take over and bring him up the field. As you see some of the cars really trying to sit in behind one another. following each other's lines no matter where they sit on the track. Deck Crowther is down 1 position from his, 8 positions from his starting position now. So unfortunate start for him. We have a couple of people that are up by 2, up by 3. Kev Eilert at the minute leading the way for the AMS once again. And sorry, it's Kev Eilert. I do apologise. A little bit of bumper to bumper action going on there just ahead of him as well. That involved Adam Delmont. Adam Delmont currently sitting P10 overall as well in car number 37 there. You can see just sitting out in front of this entire pack. And speaking of Deck Crowther, he's in the sandwich at the minute, 3 wide, and his contact there, it was inevitable as the cars were so close together. Now they jump into single file, and I think that was kind of lesson learned almost there. As you can see, when it went 3 wide, it was just never going to work there at all. And unfortunately, it suffers for Jack Jeffries, who unfortunately jumped back to the pits after that collision, and has potentially now just sealed the fate for his race. And then, as Deck Crowther does find himself once again in another sandwich. Now this time, the car behind is Chris Barnes. Will Chris Barnes make it 3 wide? Smoke in the background as well. And I haven't had reports of anyone losing any major positions, so potentially just a fancy drift in the background of things there. Up top, though, at the moment, we have Stuart Gibbons, John Brown, and Craig Walters, all fighting it out at the moment. You can see we are focused on Mr. Walters as it stands, with Gibbo just in behind him, Brown, just in behind that as well. Pete Newman over a second back from Brown, but that's a gap that is certainly achievable in terms of breaking that down and getting onto the rear bumper and fighting for that position. Neil Stevenson at the minute just needs to put his full focus in what's ahead of him and not worry about what's going on behind, because you look behind and you're just going to see carnage, cars everywhere, left, right and centre. You see Stephen Fry taking the inside line there for the P6 position. Tries to hold off Paddy Faulkner, which is not easy to do. 2 bright cars in your mirrors as well, Paddy Faulkner and Michael just in behind that. Both opting for that bright lime green colour. See, Paddy Faulkner wants to be seen at all times, judging on how bright his car actually is. And I'm having reports that unfortunately Dan Lewis has crashed now as well, and sad to see that Dan Lewis has fallen down the grid into P28 overall at the moment. Stephen Fry still trying to hold off this P6 position. Can he hold it? Because it looks like Paddy Faulkner is getting closer and closer. Looks towards the outside, can't get around the outside for Mr. Faulkner, so he has to just settle back into single file. You can see the flashing going on in the background there as well from, I believe that's Andrew Lovesey in the Audi just behind. We'll focus on just a little higher. As you can see, these guys are now starting to get even closer as well. Stuart Gibbons kind of in the middle of this battle at the moment. 2 cars in front, 2 cars behind. Not much split in all of them whatsoever. All within pretty much a second of each other. It's going to be close quarter combat for all of these cars as they go around into the distant S's. And they're into the DRS zone. Obviously, these cars, just for clarification, do not have DRS, but they are now within that DRS zone. Fraser Elphick in the YouTube chat. I'm a moron. Didn't start my engine. Sorry to the guys that Fraser ruined. It was a hell of a collision at the start of this race, that is for sure. I've never thought I'd see a TCR go to the moon, but we certainly did. And speaking of people going to the moon, Pete Newman is not going to be jumping for joy after that one. John Brown gets the move done and moves up a position. Gets into P4. Well, I say moves up a position, sorry. He was there originally, so it was just battling it out from Pete Newman and John Brown for that position. And it looks like John Brown has remained on top and where he was originally. Stuart Gibbons still having to try and fend off those cars behind. You can see the sheer speed they come into some of these corners at. I generally thought John wasn't stopping for one of those. Then you see he's gone for the defensive inside line there and does defensive work indeed. There was a bit of contact there between the cars, but nothing major, nothing that Irish can pick up. Just saw Deck Crowder back here. Almost lost for words as I saw those guys coming around side by side. Still are pretty much side by side at the moment. Kevela and Deck Crowder still going side by side into the right hander. Now, who can get that momentum advantage going down the back straight into the downhill braking zone? Who's going to get on the brakes later? Will it be the Hyundai? Will it be the Audi? Looks like Deck does have his nose slightly ahead, and he's going to maintain his car ahead as well. It's going to go slightly wide on the exit. That's going to cost him big time, as several cars look to get the move done on him. It's going to be 3 wide almost, pretty much. Oh, Chris Barnes now up alongside Mr. Crowder. Audi versus Audi. And I think Barnes gave him a little bit of space there by taking a bit of an off track to let him go through. That got a bit chaotic there as they went through the S's onto the home straight. So unfortunately that little bit of wide action for Deck Crowder sees him lose a couple of positions. And I'd say really a move for safety for Chris Barnes does drop him down a position, but P16 overall still isn't a bad spot whatsoever. Just behind him we have Deju trying to make some moves on Bjorklund as well, and Anthony Hilton. He is on the inside of Kim-Andre Bjorklund at the moment. Can Kim-Andre Bjorklund keep that momentum? Looks, I thought there was going to be a bit of contact there from the way Deju has swerved out on track, but nothing as of yet. As you can see, these cars are still non-stop battling out between Alan McCain and Mr. Draper, as well as Chris Barnes here. This pack of 3 are ultra close together. When I was talking about close quarter combat before, it's nothing like what we're seeing now, as Chris Barnes is kind of on the back of this group of 3. Alan McCain is in the middle, and then you have Mark Draper just in front. Can Draper get those moves done? Barnes has gone defensive but attacking at the same time, pretty much, as he has Hilton harassing him, trying to get by. As we look at Chris Barnes sitting on the inside line, defending that position, forcing Hilton to sit a little wider than normal on the entrance to that corner. Will that cost him in momentum and speed on this back straight? Doesn't look to do so. He's going to break the line of tow, or attempt to. The cars are so close together, I don't think it's going to have a massive effect. He's going to go for the defensive line once again, which is on the inside. Can Hilton get around him? He cannot do so, unfortunately. So Chris Barnes does maintain his position for now, but remember, there is a 25-minute race, and we're not halfway through yet, even though we've just gone past the 10-minute mark. There is still just under 15 minutes to go, so there's plenty of time for these guys to get their moves done when they need to. John Brown has just done the quickest lap of the race, currently sitting up here in P3. Looks to be just on a defending mission, really. There's a bit of a gap between him and Craig Walters just ahead. It's nearly creeping up to a second. Then there is your leader, Neil Stevenson, at the moment, sitting out in front, over a second between him and P2. Pete Newman looking to try and sit his sweep behind on that podium, on the bottom step of that podium. That would be nice. Nice way to finish off the opening round of this season, is grabbing yourself a cheeky podium. He's trying to do that, but John Brown does stand in the way, and I have heard that Mr. Brown is very good for making his rear end massively wide, so it's not going to be easy to slide one by his rear end as we sit and wait for Pete Newman to try and get the move done. At the minute he just sits in line, but he's got to wait and pounce for his opportunity and try and see if he can just get the nose, even if it's just up alongside or corner to corner. That may just be what it takes, and that might just be enough to get the move done on Mr. Brown and move up a position onto that podium spot that everyone so desires. Now if we look back here, Kim-Andre Bjorklund is pretty much, well, not Kim-Andre Bjorklund, sorry, Chris Barnes is pretty much leading a train of cars here down the back straight at the moment. We jump on and focus on Chris Barnes. You will see from the rear suspension here as we go round once more. You may see a glimpse there. There you go. You can see all the cars just in behind him. There's not much space between them whatsoever. And then this is the view in front as well as Chris Barnes comes across the line on to lap number 7. Adam Delmont posts the quickest time of a 2:02. So a wonderful time for him. As you can see, Chris Barnes is going now side by side with Kim Bjorklund, who did manage to get up on the inside. Was taking a little bit of a wider line there for Mr. Barnes. Now he does have the advantage though, because we're now coming into the 2 left-handers. Is he going to get on the brakes a little late? He's going to try and keep his nose up on the inside. He just does so. Did he suffer an off-track there? I don't think so. There's no hesitation in slowing down straight away. In fact, he's got another position as Andrew Lovesey starts to back off. So I wonder if Andrew Lovesey had a bit of a slowdown there. And he's managed to peel the time off enough that these cars are now able to go back into battle as they come round again. Andrew Lovesey has snuck past Kim Bjorklund though, and he's kind of damage limitation really for Lovesey. Chris Barnes there is still sort of ahead of this pack. Oh, Lovesey's gone around. Andrew Lovesey's gone around. He did manage to keep the car pointing in the right direction at least, but he's lost more positions there unfortunately as well. He's going to put the pressure straight on Cooper Akers, who is unfortunately on the outside line. He's going to have to suffer that position and surrender it to Andrew Lovesey, who now sits in P20 overall. So instantly, just like that, drops down several positions just due to a simple, small error in the racing. And, well, we don't know if it was his error or someone else's, but there was definitely contact between the 2 cars. That much we do know, and we can tell just from the live cast. Pete Newman is still trying to get past Mr. Brown. It's not an easy job to do so at all. Has he finally got his nose side by side? It looks to be that way. Not even attempt to split the 2. They are side by side going through the double right-hander, turns 1 and 2. He does have that advantage. Now he needs to get on the other side of the track. He needs to get on the other side of Mr. Brown, because now Brown has the inside line and the advantage for the next 2 turns, which is turns 3 and 4. Double left right-hander, double right-hander, double left-hander for this track's opening corners in this lap, and John Brown does take those positions back. So it's not all hope lost if you do lose a position in those first couple of corners, because you can certainly gain it back in the 2 just after that. And you see Deju making the move here at the moment, trying to get past Mr. Hilton, and it's not quite working out. Oh, it almost cost him there, as Andrew Lovesey is sneaking up behind and trying to get one up on his opponent there by sneaking up and causing almost like a counter-attack, really. Attacking someone that's already attacking, and it's kind of working for Andrew Lovesey, who gets his nose up on the inside. Unfortunately, he's on the outside line there into the sweeping S's. And oh, there's a bit of back and forth. Oh, there's contact there. And oh no, Deju's gone. Deju's into the wall. That's bad wheel damage, unfortunately. So Andrew Lovesey's been able to carry on. Looked like there was a little bit of netcode there in the original contact between the 2 cars. And then it looked to be a little more than just netcode in the second bit of contact. I think they bounced off the first time, and then the second time was enough to send Deju off into the wall, unfortunately. The gravel was no match. That was certainly not going to stop him from colliding whatsoever. Pete Newman at the minute still on the attack, still trying to get that move sorted and established. And it's not easy at all. It's not an easy job whatsoever, but Mr. Brown is catching up to Craig Walters just ahead. Obviously, I said that the gap was nearly a second earlier. But I tell you what, this gap, basically fighting for P2 now, has not got any larger. It's getting smaller each lap we go by. So I think it could come down to the last couple of laps where these guys are going to be sending it 2-3 wide into some corners. And I don't think it's going to be pretty either. We may have some unhappy customers by the end of this race. Just judging on what we've seen so far, where cars have been left, right and centre, popping and pinging off of each other. It's not been a mad fest, but there have just been some corners and some straights where I think, to be fair, it's mainly netcode issues that we've been seeing, where cars unfortunately are bouncing off each other and into the wall. We have seen a couple of cars go out with some bad wheel damage, and there's one of the reasons there that some people do have contact sometimes in these sims, and that is due to some cars randomly disappearing on track like you just saw, and that is due to, once again, just some internet-related issues, which obviously none of these racers can really help while they're out on track. So it's something that people just have to deal with, and a lot of people do it very well. It looks like Pete Newman has had a bit of a catastrophe there, and we do also have reports that John Brown went off track. Let's see if we can have a look at what happened here then. So you can see John Brown backs up that pack pretty much, and well, all cars basically get into a massive collision. So we see here, here's Michael on the back end of things, getting the job done and getting around. Let's have a little look at what it was like if we focus on Mr. Delmont. See, he does almost go a little wide there, and basically bouncing off the Audi on the inside pretty much. And oh, there's another spin there in the background as well. Oh, and I think that was Michael. I think that was Michael in the background. He's unfortunately been spun, and he's fallen down the pack. He has indeed. He's now down to P19. So after fighting really high, just one heavy braking zone, and it just sent the whole pack, because they were that close together, whole pack pretty much off course and offline. And that has definitely split them up a little bit. But two people that will remain this battle and keep it flowing is Pete Newman and Craig Walters. John Brown just in the background there as well. Alpha Thurtle not too far behind that either, so he'll be probably introduced to this battle very, very soon as well. It's good to see that we do have Mr. Thurtle here for the new season. As you can see, Newman once again still fighting for that P3. It's not falling his way just yet. There's still some time, but not much left. We are in the last 5 minutes. Let's check in with your race leader. Here he is, Neil Stevenson. And he is having a lovely drive out in front at the moment. You can see how far wide they can go on that turn there. There's Adam Delmont, who probably came out the best out of that big group collision there a couple of laps ago. And he's now chasing down your leader. He's currently sitting P2. Can he close down that 2-second gap over the course of this next 4 minutes? And he does so by putting out a strong time of 2:02.501. That is the quickest lap time of the session. So that'll be something to look out for as well there. Adam Delmont being his class leader at the moment. He is a pro as well, so he is currently leading his class, the quickest lap of his class, and well, potentially if he can get to P1, he's got quickest lap, P1 in his class, and P1 overall. So that'll be the going for the triple, I think, is the best way to put that. And I imagine Neil Stevenson probably has one of the quickest lap times of his class as well. Let's check in with Mr. Thurtle just in the background of this battle here. In the Altitude Esports livery, which is something different to what we're used to seeing Thurtle in. Oh, Mr. Brown looks to be cutting some grass there for the Motegi race circuit, and concedes a position to Mr. Thurtle. It was like we planned that. We jumped to Mr. Thurtle, and then 2 seconds later he overtakes John Brown, who not many people have been able to sit there and say they've done this race, as they go side by side now into the sharp right-hander. On to the back straight. Alpha Thurtle does have the advantage His car is in front, but has Brown gained the extra momentum coming out of that corner? Let's quickly have a look at what Walters is going to do here. Can he finally get himself on that podium? I got it completely the wrong way round. Pete Newman finally gets himself on that podium, and Craig Walters unfortunately suffers the podium and drops down into P4. And you can see instantly Pete Newman does open up that gap a little bit straight after that side-by-side into the braking zone there. He has gained a little bit of a gap now, so that 7/10 of a second he's going to be clutching a hold of and desperately trying to keep for the last 2 minutes of the race here. We do have someone going slow. That is Hilton Nicholson. Hilton, unfortunately, is a blue flagged car, but he is doing the correct thing and letting the cars by. Will Lyon has just gone quicker, so with a 2-minute 2.481. So Will is on an absolute flyer at the moment in the Iron Brew machine, as he just tucks in behind Chris Barnes at the minute, who's sitting P15 overall. Fraser Garrity at the moment trying to push up from that P20 into P19. There's a bit of damage on the back of Anthony Hilton's car there. Not a lot. Nothing that will be affecting performance, that's for sure. As we go into the last minute of racing here for round 1, race 2. Let's quickly check in with your leader. And what we'll do is we'll bring up the track map as well, so you can see exactly where they are on the back straight now. Adam Delmont within a second of your race leader. Can he bring that second down within 1 lap? It's not going to be an easy task. It's going to be a tough ask, but it's certainly a challenge that I'm sure he won't turn down easily. It's the time at the minute is fluctuating between 9.5 of a second to 1 second gap. Now what we'll do is we will jump on board and have a look. In fact, no, we won't. We'll just see Barney. Hopefully we'll see him off to the left somewhere. There he is, waving his white flag as these guys come around for the final time. 2-minute 2.470 for Adam Delmont. He has gone the quickest lap time. Now can he get that P1 overall? It's not going to be an easy ask, but that car 37 is going to do everything he possibly can, using all the gold on his car to try and propel himself into Neil Stephenson's path and try and get that overtake done. I mean, catching up is going to be the hardest part, but then getting the actual overtake sorted, yeah, that's not going to be fun whatsoever. That is going to be the probably the hardest part of his job. Neil Stephenson looks to continue towards that checkered flag for this race win. Unfortunately, Adam Delmont did take a little bit of an off track there, which is going to slow him down just a little bit. Still sits around 9/10 for the gap between him and the lead. So you see, here is the onboard view at the moment. You see, he's within touching distance of that P1. This is how much pain he must be going through at the minute. You can literally see he's kissing the rear bumper into the braking zones of your race leader at the minute, Neil Stephenson. 8/10 is all that splits the top two as they come around on to the back straight. Car number 37 chasing car number 16. Who's going to come out victorious out of these two? Let's have a quick little jump down to Michael at the moment. Michael, Andrew, and is that Chris? That is indeed Chris Barnes, all battling out. Chris Barnes goes for the defensive move and sticks the position onto the back straight. Then jump back to your leader. What is going on up top? At the minute, it's now come down to 6/10, so it's come down even closer, but I think Neil Stevenson is going to get the job done, and it looks like he certainly will as he comes on to the home straight. It's literally half a second between him and Delmont, and what a fantastic drive Delmont had there as they come across the line, P1 and P2. Pete Newman got himself across the line in P3 eventually. He got that move done, found himself in that position where he wanted to be, which is on that podium, and a wicked result for these racers. And we'll just wait for all the cars to come across the line as we we'll bring you your results for Heat 2. And what a fantastic race it has been here. Race 1 and Race 2 brought us some incredible action. And there were a couple of ping-pong moments, but with those swept under the carpet, it was a fantastic day of racing as usual in these TCRs. Neil Stevenson doing his cool-down lap after winning the second race here at the Motegi race circuit. So what we'll do is we will now bring you your results for Heat 2. And, well, what a fantastic race that was for Mr. Neil Stevenson, who wins it by half a second as Adam Delmont tried to close the gap. Didn't quite do so and finishes P1 for Neil Stevenson, P2 for Adam Delmont, P3 for Pete Newman, who got himself there eventually on the podium. Craig Walters then in at P4, Arthur Thurtle, in P5. And we have Stephen Fry, P6, John Brown, P7, Paddy Falconer, P8, Stuart Gibbons, P9, Deck Crowther, P10, Mark Draper, P11, P12 for Kim Andre Bjorklund, Alan McCain, P13, Kev Violet, P14, Will Lyon, P15, Chris Barnes, P16. Then we have Michael in P17, Andrew Lovesey, P18, Anthony Hilton, P19. Rounding off your top 20 is Fraser Garrity, then Cooper Akers, followed by Ricardo Neto, Rob Williams in P23, Paul Hurley, P24, Scott Malcolm, P25 overall, and then Carl Fleet, P26, followed by Dan Lewis, and Deju, followed by Hilton Nicholson, Jack Jeffries, Fraser Elphick, Dan Mould, and Anna McNally, who was at the back of the pack there. So if we just scroll a little bit further up, I can bring you your top 3 here for the AMs, which was Kev Arlett, P1 for the AMs there, Chris Barnes P2, and Anthony Hilton P3 for the AMs. As we scroll up to the top of the table, obviously Neil Stevenson finishes P1 overall, but P1 for the Pro-Am category, Craig Walters P2 for the Pro-Am category, and Stephen Fry P3 for the Pro-Am category. Adam Delmont P1 for the Pro category, and then Pete Newman P2, and Arthur Thurtle, I nearly called him Andy again, but Arthur Thurtle P3 for the Pro category. So a wicked result for all those guys there. Now what we'll do is we will look at getting some of these people in the booth with us to have a little chat and see how they're feeling after that one. First things first, let's get the we have a choice of 2. I think there's only one we can really go with to start with. And what we'll do is we'll get your race winner for race 2 in here. And we will bring him in now for you. So welcome in Mr. Neil Stevenson. Wow, what a fantastic race 2 for you then. How are you feeling after a wicked result like that?
Sweating a bit. But yeah, enjoyed that.
Yeah, I mean, it looked amazing. The drive, you drove sort of in what looked to be a very calm manner, and there was a bit of chaos here and there around the track, but it got a bit tight towards the end. You know, only half a second splitting you and Mr. Delmont, but you managed to get it across the line in P1.
Yeah, I just wanted to just take it easy in the last lap and make no mistakes and just try and keep it ahead.
I mean, it definitely worked, that's for sure. What are your opinions on what you had seen out there tonight in terms of like the racing and the track and just how the event was prepared in general? Like, give us your thoughts on that.
Me and Craig in the first race had a good race. And the track's alright, it's just that last, you've got to be quick. You've got to flow that last corner. And that's why I was catching Craig up in the first race.
Now, in the last corners there, are you trying to attack that in a straight manner, or is there quite a lot going on with the wheel back and forth?
Just trying and carry the speed, really. A little bit of braking and then carry the speed through the chicane.
Yeah, it certainly didn't look like the easiest thing to do in the world, but a a wicked result. Obviously, P1 overall, and then a P1 in your class as well. So a great start to the season for you. And do you have any tracks in the season that you're kind of looking out for? Like any in the calendar that you think, oh yeah, I'll be pretty good at that one?
To be honest, I didn't even look at the calendar really.
Well, I can tell you this: the next track that we are going to is Road Atlanta. So, how do you feel about Road Atlanta? Is that a strength for you?
Plenty straights overtaken there. Should be good.
Well, I look forward to seeing your racing out there, and hopefully it's as strong as what we had seen here tonight as well. Is there anyone you wish to give a shout out to before you leave us in the booth here tonight?
Dan, John for second league again. Yourself for the commentating. Craig for the second, held everybody up in the second race.
Well, I really appreciate you coming in and joining us here tonight, and fantastic result there. Congratulations on your win, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, we will.
Lovely. Well, I look forward to it, and I'll see you again soon.
See ya. Bye.
So what we'll do is the next person we will now bring in is Mr. Dan Mould. So we'll bring him in now. Hello, Mr. Mould. How are we doing?
Do you want the professional answer, or do you want the driver's answer?
Let's go with PG. Let's start it from there. But give us your honest thoughts. Like, how are you feeling without going too off script, shall we say?
I was just typing out a message in the Discord. First race of a new season with a lot of new faces. I think overall 33 cars on track. Overall, I think the higher percentage leans towards there was a lot of good racing. Now, there was some incidents. There was some careless driving. There was some bad decision making. But I'm pretty confident that that'll be ironed out pretty sharpish. It does seem like we've got a good group of drivers here regarding attitude and respect. Maybe we just need to have a few words. Maybe some people just need to, calm the nerves, or think about what they're going to do. Take the time. There was a lot of, seems to be, rash decisions, and I don't know. It's just, we know what it's like when we're racing. The adrenaline's pumping, and sometimes you forget your surroundings and things happen. But like I said, I think overall I'm happy as a league host with what I've seen. Track wasn't. The track's amazing. Motegi is a really good track, but I don't think it was. I'm not going to say it wasn't the best choice for the first race. I think it was a good choice, but it is a very technical track. Maybe it's one that should have been put towards the latter end of the league, where drivers could have bedded in a little better and got to know each other's skills, etc., etc. But this is just me trying to find excuses of what's happened over the night. As a host, I do feel bad on others who've maybe got caught up and had the races ended or hindered. But overall, I'm happy. There's some good comments in the Discord. My races were kind of, I think they came to end before they started, but well, the first incident was on me. I'll say that all day. I didn't give John any room on the exit. And the second one was just a malfunction in a driver just forgetting to start his car. It's no hard feelings to him. He's apologised and he said he feels bad, but it's no big deal. It happens. One of them things. I've done it myself. So yeah, one of them things. But I'm happy. I hope it was good to watch.
It certainly was. I mean, I got so engrossed in a battle in race one that I didn't even realise that people were starting across the finish line. So that's how engrossed it was in the first race, as an example. And then the second race, you just couldn't split up certain groups. They were just always congested and really close together, and there was no splitting them apart whatsoever. So it was a fantastic watch from us over here. So yeah, awesome stuff. But obviously, next round we go to Road Atlanta. How do you feel about Road Atlanta? Confident?
Yeah, I like Red Atlanta, and I think it's a track that a lot of the drivers are going to be, more familiar with than this track tonight. I think Atlanta is on the calendar and the officials far more than Motegi is. So I think we might see a lot more confidence in the drivers, and they might not be thinking about what's coming up, regarding the corners, which can be off-putting with when you're trying to think about your surroundings as well. So I'm hoping there'll be some good racing next week. To anyone who's maybe not had a good night tonight, then it's a long haul. We've still got 7 weeks left of this league, so stick with it. We will have a good time. Simple as that.
Certainly will. And as always, shout outs. The floor is yours.
Shout outs. Oh God. A big shout out to Neil Stevenson. He's been with he's been in and out. He's been with the SRL lads for a while now, and he deserved that win. So yeah, I'm glad to see Neil getting the win. And so the guys who've like I said in the free events, the guys who've joined up and spent that hard-earned cash to make this league what it is. Overwhelming, seeing 33 cars on the grid. The 2 drivers who couldn't make it with genuine reasons. One's on holiday, and one said he can't do the first round. So it would have been a full turnout for the first race. So yeah, all the guys who've taken part, thanks to them, and thanks to the guys in the background. They know who they are. I don't need to mention names. That's about it. Anyone who's watching, anybody who supports the channel, the YouTube channel and the Twitch channel, thanks again. If you haven't, then please hit it up with a sub and a follow. It does help. The more exposure we get within the community, the more faces we can bring towards the league, and the better we can make the leagues. So that's about it, really. I think I'm done yabbing on now.
Well, I appreciate you having on, because it makes my job 10 times easier, so I appreciate that. But yeah, I won't hold you too much longer. I'll let you crack on. But yeah, hopefully we'll see you again next week at Road Atlanta.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
So that is going to do it for Mr. Dan Mould's interview. Now what we'll do is we'll get Mr. Kev Eiler in here. Or Eiler, sorry. So one thing we will do straight away is, Kev, welcome in. I am going to first throw out a disclaimer before you rip my head off. I have mispronounced your surname all night, but I have corrected myself every single time. Brilliant. So I have corrected my mistakes, so I'm just going to put it out there before you absolutely tear me to shreds. But let's get into the racing. How are we feeling after that? Because you seem to be in multiple different battles at multiple times.
I drove what I think was probably one of the most sensible races I've driven for a long time there. I was very aware, especially the first race, I had Neil and Craig battling away in front of me, and I'm thinking, I don't want to get involved with their battle too much, because A, I'm a different class, and B, I'm not going to be as fast as them over the course of the race. So I had to just kind of blend between battles and not be too affected by everyone's battles. If you fall back too far, you get swallowed up so easy. It's a challenge.
It certainly is, but it looked like you were enjoying yourself out there, as well as many other people as well, and some incredible racing. I mean, was round 1 what you expected it to be in terms of like with the TCRs? Were you expecting it to go the way it did tonight?
Yes and no. I wasn't expected to be up top, just because my pace wasn't massively quick. It was on the fringes, but it wasn't anything near it. But I think what I did start was just being sensible and just. I mean, yeah. As long as you're driving sensibly on a track like Motegi, because it's all mid-corner acceleration and everyone's accelerating at the same pace, so you've got to literally make the move before the corner and then block past everyone. but it's quite hard to do here. So you've just got to be really sensible and force a mistake and hopefully nip on through. And I took advantage of everyone else's mistakes. I don't think I made one overtake or win both races. I was just driving through my pace and playing some nice defensive games.
Well, you certainly were. I mean, your livery certainly popped up a couple of times on our broadcast, not only from you but from other people as well. So it was a great watch, and I'm sure it wasn't too easy having the, as we can see it on our screens at the minute, we've got a replay up showing you trying to keep Blade Designs car and a cracking livery car behind you, and then followed by like a pack of a good 5 to 6 cars. So I bet that was a bit daunting seeing that in your mirrors. When it comes to the defensive moves like you were talking about, are you someone that tends to try and split it, so 50-50 driving with what's in front of you and driving with what's in the mirrors, or are you purely focused all the time on what's ahead?
I'm actually looking probably not the car behind me, but what is coming up behind them. So I knew Deck, this is a great example, Deck was probably faster than me by 3 or 4 tenths per lap, but I knew if I let him by, Barnsey, who is my class, is going to follow him through. So I couldn't let him by easy, but I knew I could probably get Barnsey on pace. So I had to look at what Barnsley's gap was to Deck in order to let Deck by, or think about planning that a couple of laps ahead. So it's like a game of chess in a very complex kind of way. So I'm watching not my lap because I'm driving my time. I'm in a good rhythm. But I'm watching what everyone else is doing 3 or 4 places further back instead of what Deck's doing behind me, because I know I can trust Deck. Deck's not going to take me out or anything like that. I might take him out occasionally by accident, but I know he's going to play a safe game and he's not going to make any rash moves. So I can just drive my line and drive my pace and just concentrate on where I need to let people by and not let people by and make the moves and then gap, which actually worked out better because I could actually go faster than Barnsey once I had clean air as well and followed the faster guys.
Oh, well, you certainly had a fantastic race, especially to finish P1 in your class as well. So, quality result and top notch for your points there as well. But as always, I'm asking the same question to pretty much everyone that's come for an interview tonight. Road Atlanta, the next round. Are we feeling confident?
Absolutely, I love Road Atlanta. It's one of my favourite tracks. I generally performed pretty well there in most classes of racing, so I'll be feeling pretty positive. So yeah, I think it's going to be another good battle between the AMs and the Pro-Ams, especially. I think there's a good mix of class going on there with us all, and you could get some quite interesting feisty racing. What was really good about tonight, I don't know if anyone's commented on it, but is the fact that everyone's fighting for the same points. So it's not. You've got to play a much more intelligent game over when and where you let people by and how you race each of us on the track as well, because you're all fighting for the same points. So, between one person on track in class is actually, if you get 3 or 4 places, that's the points you need to be going for. So yeah, to just be, I think we got, as long as you're playing the intelligent game, it's a thinking man's race this season, I reckon. So, but it's so close between everyone.
It certainly is, and you've all put on an absolutely fantastic display. But as any other week, is there anyone you wish to shout out before you depart us here in the booth?
The boys, as usual, the SRL boys, Dan, John, you, yourself for the broadcast, and the guys work behind the scenes on it. It's certainly got the numbers there, so it's looking great. So thanks for everyone for turning up and smashing it out, because it's been a good first league night for everyone.
Certainly was indeed, and yeah, fantastic display for everyone. And well, we look forward to seeing all this action again with yourself next week. So I hope you have a good week, and hopefully you get some practice in ready for Road Atlanta. Not that it sounds like you need it at all, though. So looking forward to what you can display for us next week.
Absolutely. Cheers, mate. I'll catch you guys later.
Yep, have a good one. So there we go. That's going to round off our interviews then for tonight. But as we have said already, this is just round 1. This is just the beginning of something new, and just the beginning of something absolutely fantastic. So we appreciate each and every one of you coming down and joining us here tonight for the SRL TCR Season 7 round opener. Really do hope you all have a wonderful evening, and we're going to leave you with the normal end screen. Obviously, if you want to get involved, there will be details on it in terms of like how to get in and amongst all the action. It's never too late, and you can always come in, get some information, and either get ready, see if you can get your way in this season, or sneak into the next one. But for now, until next week, for the next round of TCRs, for me, it's going to be a goodbye. Hope you all have a good week. and we'll see you again very soon.